Taurus, welcome to Deep Heights. Thank you for joining me. I'm going to do a lost and found spread for you today, and I've got the bones laid out. And it's really interesting, Taurus, this energy, because what we have here, what's lost kind of like in the past, is Epona's wild daughter, excuse me, and the fairy god. And I feel like this is a sense that other people have viewed you, and the way that other people have viewed you, or something that a way of being that other people have expected from you. It could be a few different things, but I feel like there's an attitude of carefreeness and recklessness, um, wondering kind of, um, through which you have grown wise with this owl energy here, but your roaming days, I feel like, are kind of not necessarily over, but in the sense of your beliefs and your desires and what you want, that you know who you are and what it is that you want, and you're not really going to be led about, by the ring and the nose anymore. And not necessarily by another person, but maybe by your own emotions or your own desires or expectations. And, maybe it could be, being forced to do things that you really didn't want to do from your parents or from your spouse or from your boss or in any type of situation. What's found here is the Jihabya with Talm the poet. And I feel like you're really protecting yourself and your senses, your sensibility, your sensitivity. Tauran energy is very earthy, very sensitive, very kind, very sweet, very sensual, and there's a maturity that needs to come along with owning that, and being that just yourself, and enjoying that for yourself and not allowing anyone to come and take your calm. There's a stubbornness here, with the Jihabya, very earthy, very, you're not going to allow anyone to disturb your calm. He's in stone, this character. You won't be moved by whatever it is, that's whatever situations that you're coming up against right now, whatever is challenging you, you're not going to be moved. At the bottom of the deck, we had He of the Fiery Sword, and at the split, we have the Sage. You are owning your truth. You have found inner wisdom through whatever experiences that you've had. You know whatever it is that you're doing is right for you, and you're doing it with courage, bravery, and in truth, which is always important. The Sage, I think of Virgo. For me, Virgo is an oak, but Virgoan energy is a fellow earth sign, but it's the mutable earth sign. Tauran energy is fixed, you know. Hence, I think you showing up as this Taum, this fixity in yourself, which is okay, but still being able to grow. With He of the Fiery Sword, this energy able to cut away things that would tie you down and let you, anything that's going to, like, any things that's growing that are negative or rotten branches, dead weight. If you've got a ring in your nose, you know, cut the thing off, but people are like, I don't know. Well, I'm trying to think of that. What's that saying? They cut the nose to spite the face. I don't know how that's relevant, but it's important, I feel there's a sense of settling down in your energy, and a calm that no one can come in and touch. Choice. Mars in Libra. Mars is leaving Libra. It has been in Libra now. But we have influence here. Mercury in Libra. Here we have you, this acquisition, this Sun in Taurus here. Restlessness. Loss behind that. Okay. like you're fighting for what it is that you believe in, for what you want. And talking about being led about, being trapped. The legs are trapped here. There's this sword going through the heart, this pain, this loss card coming out as well. Heartbreak, difficult choices, but choosing yourself ultimately. I feel like you're choosing yourself here. It's Mercury and Libra card. Temptation, if they're not able to pull you and lead you about, their speech is going to become like honey with a forked fucking tongue. Be careful, because as you go on your journey, as you separate yourself from others, and as you use this sword to cut away anything that's false and that's holding you down, you might run into some stubbornness from others. Aren't going to particularly care for that too much. Somebody's going to want to talk to you. They're going to have something to say. Just beware. Hear them out, but maybe not. I don't feel like you're really interested in what anybody else has to say, honestly. If you're not hurting anybody, and you're like, I'm going to make some decisions that are best for me, fuck off. This acquisition, I think it's finding yourself. And we have these serpents here that are dancing. Everything here in this card is in alignment, this balance of masculine and feminine energies. This, I feel like it's success, but this looks like, reminds me of Marie Antoinette, Louis the 16th, right? We all know what happened to them. At what cost is it to find yourself? When you go on this journey of individuation and your becoming and knowing who you are and not having to always be searching. No, you found something, and in your experiences in your life, no, you found something now, and you're like, no, hold up, wait a minute. You're having to choose yourself. But our ego also, it can act, whatever you want to call it, superego, has a lot to say, about being led about and conformity and not really having anything, not having any roots, any grounding. That's coming up in a few of the readings that I've been doing. Roots, your grounding. Talking about that Virgoan energy that's like an oak. Its roots are deep. Something about uprooting yourself, not being uprooted. Be careful when you're hacking away, too. I mean, think of Nietzsche, when you're slaying monsters, be careful not to slay the best parts of yourself. It's where this Taurus the poet comes in, the sensitiveness, the sensitivity, the sensibility, this poetry. And what is poetry? Is it a way of living? It's an art, a way of feeling. Poetry is a way of living. Like truth, it must be lived, it cannot be taught. This restlessness and loss. It's Mercury in Aries, Saturn in Pisces. There's some anxiety here about releasing, letting go of a way of being. Because this seems like a lot of fun to me, a lot of adventure. Maybe it could be about settling down. Of the great unknown. But I don't feel like this is negative. I feel like some of the ways of being, you have much more flow now. Because Epona, and she's all bright, and she's half horsewoman, she's got these Pegasus wings, but she's leaning, and she's pushing this other woman down, this other being. And it's in black and white, like this owl, this wisdom. talking about having to cut that away. And it looks very beautiful. It looks very free. But when it's always searching, always looking, this is the zero card, like the Fool in the tarot, and that isn't, it can be negative in a negative sense. And its negative aspects, that it has no roots, it's never grounded, it's impractical, it's foolish, it's folly. But the fool grows wise in his folly. The fool becomes wise in his folly. And I feel like you have become wise in your folly. I have. Oof, I got some tales to tell, and that's magnificent. That's beautiful, and I feel like this acquisition, it's you showing up strong, finding yourself. You won't be influenced by, you're not going to buy that snake oil, right? Absolutely not. Strong boundaries. What messages do you have for Taurus? What messages do you have for Taurus, please? There's a card that I've seen the back of 3 times. I wonder if that's going to come out. What would you say to Taurus? Limitation. Acceptance. The pulsing pressure to mutate. The acceptance of limitation is the first step in transcendence. It's the space between where mutation takes place. Line 6 is rigidity. Line 2, decisiveness. And line 1, acceptance. The back of the card here. Growth. On the bottom of the deck, we have the joyous. Carried away, aliveness, the vitality to challenge. Yeah. I feel like you're challenging the limitations that others have placed on you, and the limitations that that you have placed on yourself. If you've been in a pasture, right? You want out. You want to go beyond. What's on the other side? See a lot of happiness for you. Yeah, here's that tree imagery again on the back of the joyous. These roots. I like this. The vitality to challenge, and where are you getting that from? Just protecting yourself. Your own energy, your own choices, your own desires. Even if that's to stay still for a while. To set down roots. Wow, they all fell out. Emergence. Yeah. Obviously what the cards are saying. I'm coming out. I'm getting out. I'm breaking away. I'm separating myself from the herd. I'm no longer going to be a part of the herd. You are without merging. Individuation, strong for you, Taurus. Without fear. I want to get some advice for you. What's the advice to my Taurus during this situation? It's a big transition for you. I feel like you need time as well to experience it. That's going to be really important to protect your energy. Because people are, well, what's wrong? Do you need to talk about it? And maybe not. Maybe you need time alone. You need time alone to adjust. because, I spend a lot of time alone. I like to be alone, and I'm not always sad when I'm alone. I spend a lot of time thinking or reading and, excuse me, writing, feeling, being. Most people don't understand that at all. I think something's wrong with me. I think something's wrong with them. Okay. What's the advice for my Taurus, please? What's the advice for my Taurus during this time? I'm using the Thoth deck. These cards are slow to speak for you. Wow. So we have the Lover's card with the Hierophant reversed, the Knight of Cups reversed on the bottom of the deck. Yeah, I definitely feel like it's a separation from a way of being, separating from the herd. The Lover's card is about, I love Michael Tessarian, and he was talking a long time ago in one of his talks. Everybody wants to talk about the alchemical marriage, but no one wants to talk about the alchemical divorce. And there's a great book from C.S. Lewis called the Great Divorce. It's about you're in hell and you go to heaven. It's beautiful. It can be read quickly. I read it. I don't know, maybe once a year. I love that book. Read that. I feel compelled to tell you. But I do feel like with this Lover's card, with this Gemini energy, being a little bit more versatile in your ways of thinking, and letting go of some aspects of yourself. Maybe that, with this Knight of Cups reverse, oh wow, and the Ten of Wands below that. The fool becomes wise in his folly. Here. You're breaking the mold. You're getting out of what's always been expected from you. You're not following the herd. Is the big energy that I pick up on this. Wow, so we have the Hanged Man and the Princess of Wands reversed. You need time, This is not a time, I feel like, where you're going to have a lot of this passionate, creative energy to go out with others and be seen and, this type of energy in the past. Even though with this Hanged Man energy, this isn't depression, this isn't sadness, this is like Odin sacrificing, making the sacrifice to himself for that spiritual gain. The individual. It's uncomfortable and it's difficult. But it's a process of life, that pressure to mutate that we were talking about here. That pulsing pressure to mutate. But it isn't to change the world around you necessarily. It's about changing yourself for the better. It's really beautiful. Agreement and transition here on the bottom of the deck. Card 24 again. We had this card 24. What did we have that was 24? I don't know. Anyway, we have transition on the bottom of the deck with this agreement. And I feel like it's willing, this agreement energy here. This is Libra, but it's this water energy. Making a difficult choice. Well, different is what came out. So yeah, making different choices than what you've made in the past. I don't want to say like your soul contracts changing, but I feel like, because I don't really know how I feel about that, but that's the best way that I have to describe this, is that when we come into this life, our whatever frequency we're at, wherever we are at, when we're born, our souls, whatever we know, we must learn things, and you've learned something, and I feel like the future is yours to kind of write now that a huge life lesson has been accomplished, and where you go moving forward is up to you. But give yourself the time to transition fully away from that and kind of maybe understand that that's the process that's going on for you right now, is that you are transitioning, and anything that is changing takes time. This agreement here, definitely feel it's contractual, and I feel like signing paperwork for a new lease on a home, you know, buying a home, leasing a home, business contracts. It could be a time to be able maybe renegotiate some contracts as well. But I feel like you are the one that's renegotiating. You aren't being led about anymore by that bull ring. Wow, we have abundance, forgiveness, and truth coming out. I'm a big advocate of the only person that we ever have the right to forgive is our own self. I have my reasons for that. But forgiving yourself here. Don't be too hard on yourself for the way that you've chosen to live your life this far, you know. That's what I want to say, or how I'm reading the cards. This forgiveness is really standing out to me. There's an image of the sun and the moon there. Just say it's like opposites, right? It's very masculine, very feminine energy. Lunar and solar. We need both. You need both ways of being. I feel like you need this darkness energy for a while, this settling energy. Allow yourself time for that, Taurus. I feel like that's really maybe kind of difficult for you to do, which is why it's come up in such an extreme way, because this is an extreme card in this deck. This is a no. Scary no. Gandalf, like, you shall not pass. It's truth and abundance. Being your own authentic self is what leads to your ultimate happiness, your joy, the fertility of the ground, this Three of Pentacles, getting good soil. Psychic development is on the bottom of the deck, and below that is unlimited possibilities, another tree. This tree imagery is very important for you. Yeah. This wisdom, great wisdom you are coming into within yourself and who you are. I want to say keep going, you know, but it's a time of stillness, so stay still, Taurus. I hope to see you again.